Yeah, thrilled to be unbeaten through non-conference schedule, especially the schedule we set forth with this group. Going on the road to Notre Dame, a traditional top 10 program, playing two other top 15 matches in Arkansas and Xavier, and even beyond that, MAC champion Ohio, and Loyola, a team that came in with 4 out of 6 matches with wins. So to go unbeaten through that stretch, we dealt with a lot of adversity through it. We lost 2, elite players to season-ending injuries. Early season, other players have stepped up. So to deal with some of that adversity and obviously the high quality of opponents, to see some success on the scoreboard puts us in a great position. And it's been reflected obviously in the national ranking, but as we're talking with our team, we all have the great reset coming here with Big Ten play, and everyone's 0-0 going into Big Ten conference action.
In what ways do you think that this tough non-conference schedule has really prepared you for what Big Ten play is going to throw at you, especially with trying to make the three-peat of the Big Ten champions?
Yeah, so we were very intentional in the schedule. We knew we wanted a tougher schedule overall to help boost our RPI, and try and seek one of those top 2 seeds in the NCAA tournament at the end of the year. But then stylistically, we played very different teams in terms of their tactical setup, their style of play. So it presented different challenges match to match. That obviously is going to translate to the Big Ten. We're going to see a wide variety as well of systems and styles. We played a Notre Dame and Arkansas team that are very high press and in your face defensively. But in contrast, a Notre Dame team that keeps the ball, and Arkansas just smashes it and gets in the box and creates chaos, which that we'll see in some of the opponents we play. We've played 3 teams now in a very low block that essentially are trying to keep us off the scoreboard as long as possible and hope for a counter, which I think we'll see fairly frequently in Big Ten play with the group that we have. So I think RPI-wise it's important, strength of schedule, but also stylistically, we set ourselves up to see a wide variety of things. So I don't think there's going to be pictures in conference play that we haven't seen at some point already. The key will be how quickly we can address it, assess it, and then execute what we need to do in those moments.
Coach, staying locked in, you've had so much success at the latter part of the season, and here's the early part transitioning. What's the day-to-day like to keep the players locked in?
Yeah, as much as we may talk about here, where we're at in our rank or going for a 3rd Big Ten title, that's not something that's really on our mindset. It's always been be your best every day. I know it's coach speak, but it's coach speak for a reason, because the psychology tells you that if you stay where your feet are, you focus on giving your best performance every day, you're going to grow the most. You have the most opportunity for growth. And so for this group, we have so many players that came back. We have 7 graduate students on our team. They've already finished their college degree. They're coming back in large part while seeking some academic opportunities to see what they can do with their soccer career in a final year. Can we take another big step as a program? And you only do that by living in the moment. And so I think we have a group that's mature and understands that. They're doing a good job of helping to educate our young players about what that takes, because imagine being an 18-year-old kid as a freshman, you're looking around and for 3 weeks you're ranked in the top 5. Life's got to feel pretty good, but it's about how well you do on the day and giving your best effort that's going to help you grow, because we don't want kids when they first get here to be their best soccer. We want next week them to be a little bit better, the following week, et cetera, et cetera. So when they can look back and say they can be super proud of how well they've developed and grown over their 4 years at Michigan State.
Great, thank you.
Coach, you talked about the season-ending injuries. Can you talk about the quality of depth you've been able to build here for the program and how important that is? Just not the top players, but the depth moving forward?
Yeah, it's been massive. First, the impact that Reagan Dalton and Emerson Sargent make in our program on a daily basis, not just their performance, but the leadership they have, the work rate they have, and the example they set, has helped prepare that depth, because players see what the expectation is and they know what the standard is to hold themselves to in our entire group. The depth part is massive, because I think, you look at last year's team, that was an incredible roster that had an incredible year. When we compare ourselves against a team like BYU of a year ago that had 7 pros, 7 draft picks on that team last year, we could sub 3 or 4 deep and feel really confident and impact the game. And then there are sometimes we get exposed a little bit after that. And we knew that was something we had to continue to foster. We sought that in the transfer portal, bringing in 4 very experienced players. Our freshman class all had incredible success and experience at the national level, at the highest level of youth soccer. Tara Learman, that used to be our director of ops, used to say this all the time to our team, that you don't have to get ready if you stay ready. And I think that's a mentality within our group. You've heard it other phrases like you got to work while you wait. Maybe you're not in the lineup as much as you want. But you got to keep working and being prepared for when your moment's called to be able to do that. And I think this group's really adopted that. Kaylee McPherson's a freshman. She's started the last 2 games. We've played Grace Jackson a lot more minutes. We're going to have some players getting back for some injury. They're going to join us a little bit to potentially add some more of that depth. But without a doubt, you have to have depth. You have the players that come off the bench and provide a great opportunity for your team to perform. And I think that's going to be instrumental now and certainly moving forward to continue to have stability and growth in our program.
Going off that depth a little bit, Emily Matthews, obviously the hat trick on Thursday. Just what has she brought to the program in her obviously first year with you guys?
Yeah, she's pretty good. She's a pretty good player. She's really technical. She's a smart player. She's very clinical in front of goal. You look at the way that she scores goals or sets up opportunities. She's a very polished, skilled player. And obviously having 4 years as a mainstay, all Big Ten selection at Purdue. She has a very extensive youth resume as well with the U.S. national team. So she's played and competed at the very highest level and is now starting to figure out how we want to play. That just requires a little bit more intensity on both sides of the ball. But every game we've seen more growth from her. And what I love most about her is that when she plays to a certain standard, if she doesn't meet it, she finds some frustration in it, but she immediately is looking for solutions and taking accountability for it. And man, this day and age is kind of hard to find sometimes, but it's set a really good example for the rest of the group.
In what ways have having so many grad transfers rubbed off on people like Kaylee McPherson, who's now having to step into a larger role with these injuries as a freshman?
I think it allows her to be herself and follow her instincts because she has so many other players around her that can help lead and direct. So she can kind of just go play a little bit. And I think one of the residual effects, whether we're talking about depth or veteran leadership, is, we live in the now, but as you look out into the future and you have a Julia Belli starting and a Kaylee McPherson and a Maggie Illig and, some younger players, like they're soaking all this up too because they want to be and have the same kind of impact that these older players are having. So that experience certainly helps. And mostly because our freshmen or our young players or new players in the program just kind of go and do while learning on the fly.
Anybody else?
All right. Thanks, everyone.